It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon ladies and gents. Hi MHB, I'm good, doing well, thank you very much. What about you? So it's ADP event. So for the next 45 minutes we are going to talk about the euro dollar, dollar Swiss franc, maybe dollar yen. We'll check what is going on with the cable, where the cable is looks like it's walking his own way. So we will see. Of course, as usual, let's start with the risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind, trading FX and margin trading crypto carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can stay as some initial investments. Please do not invest money you cannot afford to. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. All right. So, guys, we have like 12 minutes to go. You need a trade of 40 pips today. Oh, well. So let's try to check what happened after our morning meeting. If you remember, I've been long. There was two possible scenarios from the long perspective. Looks like they choose the deeper pullback. So I closed the rest of my long of euro dollar, and I've been waiting that my limit order to buy is going to be filled. You know, it's still possible. It's still possible, but to be honest with you, it's still possible that the order is going to be filled. But I am not sure if I want to see this type of the euro-dollar pullback, because that would mean that the short I have here on the dollar Swiss franc are gonna be stopped out, right? The thing is that, you know, I switched from euro dollar to dollar Swiss franc, but because of those Swiss National Bank members' dovish speeches about the continuation of this losing policy, push Swiss franc lower everywhere. So I'm not that happy because of what I see right here right now. Well, not always we have a good trades only. And finally, the third one was the order on the DJ, but of course we moved lower further, and I cancelled my order after our meeting today, because we are just covering ADP today. I'm gonna to look for the price action after the US cash open when we are talking about the indices. So it's a little bit shorter meeting today, but yeah, we were covering RBA, and tomorrow we have 3 meetings, guys. So it's you are more than welcome to join me tomorrow, 8 a.m. pre-London Open, then 9:15 a.m. CET. We are going to cover EU and UK PMI. I do expect some fireworks there, and then 3 p.m. CET tomorrow afternoon we are going to cover US ISM non-manufacturing. So I would say the number, the US ISM non-manufacturing, I would say it might be a little. The services are more important. I mean, if we are going to get this 55, what market is expecting, then some short squeeze on indices might be in place, but we will see. It's tomorrow. Today is ADP, and it's like the preliminary when we are talking about the non-farm payrolls this upcoming Friday, which we are going to cover live as well. So plenty of events towards the end of the week, and we are going to cover all of them live. Very good question, Alessandro. Hi, Alessandro. Very good question. Actually, to be honest with you, it's from yesterday ISM manufacturing perspective. This weak number, right? I think that market needs some kind of the good reading here. Now let me explain why. Because if we are not going to get the good number today, market may translate immediately, but it's not. We all know it's not working that way, right? Very often, what we seen as the ADP number was completely different 2 days later when we were talking about the non-farm payrolls. And as a comparison, guys, you can take yesterday PMI, US PMI, and US ISM, right? So within 15 minutes, we got two different numbers, right? Now, I've been laughing with Michał this morning when I spoke with Michał here on the channel during the pre-London Open live market coverage. I've been laughing that I do have my own conspiracy theory, right? If you are listening me for a longer time, then you know what we already agreed on, that to win the presidential election, Trump needs good economic condition, right? On the other hand, his opponents know that one of the way to win is when we are going to have some kind of the crisis, recession, or whatever, either during the election or just around the corner. So my conspiracy theory is that the number is gonna to depend on who is in charge of the announcement, right? So I've been trying to get back to the morning conversation with Michał. I've been laughing that, okay, the PMI was good because there was a guy who is in charge of the announcement, is a President Trump fan, and then we got ugly ISM because there is in charge the Trump opponent, right? And to be honest with you, I think that way. If we are going to get ADP as expected, nothing extraordinary, then I think we might see a little bit of the rally then sell-off continuation, I think. And if we are going to get the ugly ADP, then we might see continuation immediately of what we've seen yesterday, right? So today's ADP it's more like for bulls on the indices to try to survive till tomorrow, where the ISM non-manufacturing is expected very good, or even till Friday towards the non-farm payrolls. My expectations in regards to the ADP, the thing is that the previous one was revised to the upside as far as I remember, 195. The market expectations right here, right now are 140. And I think that we are going to get something around 140, maybe slightly below. we are not going. I think it's not gonna be ugly. I think it's not gonna be ugly, but it has to be strong bid in order to move stocks higher. I would say that's how I see. There is a long way to the upside right now, trying to recover. But you know, we've seen that it's possible with dollar Swiss francs. Of course, it's possible with indices and as well. So yeah, in that case, it's gonna be very, very interesting. But I don't think we are going to get any kind of the ugly. I think it's going to be around what the market is expecting, maybe slightly below. And in that case, we are going to watch 4 crosses, and I'm going to make reshuffling of this template. Maybe 3 dollar yen. Okay, we are going to go with 3 without dollar yen. We are going to go with Swiss franc, with cable, and euro dollar. Of course, watching indices, gold and oil, especially with oil, guys. Official EA release gonna take place later today, so we have to be careful as well. Well, this Swiss franc, I'm getting sick of this Swiss franc here. The worst thing might happen, the stop out ahead of the ADP and then move to the downside, right? That could be the case here, of course. Hopefully it's not going to happen, and we will survive towards the ADP. And if ADP prove that we are going to see more dollar weakness, that would be good. Otherwise, I'm going to have to reopen that position, right? So that's how it works. So looks like staying with euro dollar was the better choice. Looks like staying with euro dollar was a better choice, basically. With dollar Swiss franc, in that case, in case of because we are right now much higher, approaching my stop. End of the day is gonna be very, very important. End of the day, it's going to be the key here. Because we took out yesterday high, so meaning that we are taking out this upper shadow from yesterday. Okay, and if market will manage to close above that upper shadow, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something, and yeah. So I was correct that the USD Swiss franc will recover towards the supply from the post yesterday ISM. What I was not right about, it was that we are going to. I thought that we are not gonna to hit, but those highs. But you know, that's how the central bankers manipulating currencies, their own currencies, right? So no, I can't do anything. There was a guy from Swiss National Bank saying that they will do even more if needed. So meaning that more. But I survived by half pip. MHB, let me turn the question to you. Is it going to be to the upside or to the downside? I'm using probably the same chart as you are using, and I think that as long as we are above yesterday low, now seriously, as long as we are above yesterday low, I think that retest of 110 is possible. So as discussed this morning, 109.05, 108.95, if seen, that might be some kind of the buying opportunity towards 109.90, 110, 110.10. But long term, medium term, as discussed, the same way as discussed. nothing has happened to the dollar yet, and from the higher time frame perspective, as long as basket holds above 95, fine. Well, looks like, you know, I'm still on a losing position, but well, the high was 26.5, I have 27.2, so less than 1 pip this time, at least for now. Yeah, been lucky. We'll see how long. But the good thing is that the upper shadow here and close below those double top here and more to the left. So that's the good thing. That's the good thing. But let's have a look what we got as an ADP. Gold is trying to get back above 85, 90. Well, guys, I told you something around 140, maybe a little bit below. There you go, 135. So that's what I was expecting, and in that case, as I mentioned, it might be neutral, it might be no move at all, or you know, some few pips to the upside, few pips to the downside. We have a Williams around the Europe close, FOMC member, but he's not gonna move the market. The cable looks like the cable is using his own way on the market. It's this Brexit saga. Let's have it closed, whatever, because yeah. And we got, of course, we got the very weak construction PMI, 33.3 against 45 expectations. But when we are talking about the UK PMI, I think that tomorrow's PMI services is the most important. And the market is still expecting that the reading will stay above 50. So it's you know, a little bit weaker, but within the range we talk about. I don't know. So with euro dollar, in case I'm gonna be stopped out on the dollar franc, on a Swissy. This type of the price action, as you can see, 1-to-1 based on the yesterday and Tokyo high. This 1-to-1, that's something I may try to use to try to trade euro dollar to the upside, but of course close below the Monday low, hitting the stops based on the yesterday low, and it might turn bearish. Of course euro is bearish, but short term we do have a chance to see a little bit more pop. At least that's what I would like to see, as we discussed, return towards 110, retest of this psychological level. That's where the real supply, in my opinion, is. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see what's going on there. Looks like if there are any bulls, it's going to be worth to wait for a close above Monday high, 23.50. Otherwise it's bearish. There was a revision of the previous reading to 157 from 190 probably, right? So that should add, but it's not adding right now. And I don't like this combination of the weaker euro because it's pushing dollar Swiss franc higher. But you cannot be always right, right? Sometimes you have to be wrong. Otherwise, I would be Instagram millionaire trading FX. Thanks, MHB. Looks like they took the stops based on yesterday high. Don't forget that it's still inside. It's still let's switch higher. It's still under this broken neckline, right? So it's a head and shoulders playing out. It might be just the retest, and you know, I've been waiting here, trying to be you know, a little bit faster. They didn't hit that levels, so we broke this neckline. We are retesting this neckline, right? But don't and it's going to be rejected, it looks like, but don't forget about one thing, guys. I've been talking about that yesterday probably. That's the old range. That's the old range. I think that 50% of that range might be tested. So it looks nice with this rejection here because it's a neckline, it's a rejection. But I would like to see some kind of the manipulation towards 1500, the round number, right? That would be interesting because some shorts, in that case, in the case of the retest of that level, that would be some yeah, I've been some time ago, not now. That would provide you know, doing the round towards 1500, you can do two things cheaply, meaning that you are forcing those sellers here, you are forcing to cover. So when the shorts are covering, they are buying, right? So you've got the move. And why it's cheap? Because you are doing two things. You are inviting buyers here as well, right? So you are inviting buyers here as well on the move back above the neckline, right? So I would love to see 1500 a failure here, because right now the sellers are going to start to panic. When we are going to hit 1500 with quick pullback, then the buyers will start panic and we are going to have a mess, and that's gonna be very good environment to try to continue to the downside eventually, right? Because those sellers are either gonna be stopped out, or on the pullback they are going to cover it, break even or something like this, and that should go lower. Unless those guys who can move the market, they got completely different plan. They wanna trap all those sellers from the daily chart based on this head and shoulder, and we are not gonna create head and shoulder because there are gonna be some kind of the megaphone formation on the daily chart, and we are about to hit 1600. We discussed this possibility a few days ago, probably previous week, and there is a thing I'm lately often talking about this, that we are preparing nice things as an addition. There are gonna be short streams about different strategies in exact detail. So like one strategy, 3-4 streams or something like this, trying to implement and stuff like this. And there are gonna be one more thing, and I think you will like it. So because what we might have here, some kind of the megaphone formation, and it's gonna be like skyrocketing higher. Yeah, it was revised down. Yes, you're right, MAGB. So watching in between here and 1500 on the gold, because you know the US cash open is not working yet, right? Still 1 hour left. So this rejection is nice, right? This rejection is nice, but it's an hourly chart, so still 30 minutes left. Okay. So yeah, I would rather try to be patient. So what we need right now, actually what I need right now with my dollar Swiss franc short, quick close below 10010. Otherwise they may use this weakness. That's the yesterday weakness, post ISM weakness, right? So once they broke through, they may use that one as a support immediately here, pushing higher. So we'll see. Still some time. Good thing is euro is recovering a bit. But even right now with this dollar Swiss franc, if we are going to close below, I cannot say I'm going to survive. There is one more moment during the day where they can strongly manipulate both sides, meaning that they can manipulate to the upside as well. I'm talking about the London fix. That's another. Well, also they can manipulate to the downside. So one thing is for sure. Some stops were taken out based on this ISM sell-off, post-IM sell-off. My stop survived by less than pip for now. move back below parity, that could make me less nervous. In case gold is going to end this early candle like this, then either we are going to create swing high, something like this, right? Or we are going to make third higher shadow, right? So either we are going to have it like this, like what we've seen late New York, Tokyo, or we are going to try to break out from this flag, right? And to be honest with you, I would rather go with that flag, because that is gonna bring us, and it's gonna do alive the plan with retest of 1500, right? On the Swiss franc, the support right now is this bottom of that candle, so parity again in play. Whoops. It's quiet, guys, it's quiet, and that's the worst thing when it's quiet, because it's easy to push few pips to the upside, few pips to the downside, again upside, and again downside. Also, market may want to take the break or one breath after yesterday fireworks ahead of the next PMI fireworks tomorrow. So it might be slower day today and more fireworks tomorrow. One of the reasons I'm going to cover all of this tomorrow, so both EU and UK PMIs as well as US. What else with euro dollar? We might not see one-to-one equal moves. It might be just this one, right? That's what market did lately when made this lower low. So after huge rally, the same size V formation, and market may want to try to continue. And that, if that's the case, that might support my dollar Swiss franc for now. When talking about the indices, then again, as discussed yesterday, that this gap is not gonna be closed. So what we have to be careful, what we have to understand, if we agree that mostly algo are moving the market here, right? So they are somehow have to be coded, right? So if that was the range, right, and that's what I'm telling you guys very often, the easiest way, we don't have to try to discover America, but the easiest way, if you are breaking the range, then you are doubling the range, right? Let me make it, because as you can see, if you are doubling the range, if you are breaking the range, then you are doubling the range. Some stops to the downside, so first target half of that range and stops to the upside, and half of that range stops to the upside, blah 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 blah. Right? So you shouldn't be surprised that they are trying to turn. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we are going to get back here towards 26,600. What I'm trying to tell, that it's possible with this what we see, and based on the equal moves after the range break, right? So yeah, this consolidation ahead of this breakdown, of course I don't like it because it's a pre-market move, but that's the first possible supply, right? And it's related to yesterday close. So trying to open without the gap, because if we are going to close that gap ahead of the open, meaning that the open is going to be around yesterday close, and then we can boom start to see sell off straight from the open, right? In case of the lower open, usually they are going to try to push higher, maybe more stops and stuff like this. So I'm in favor right now for the next 50 minutes. I'm in favor of the move back up, to try to not to open with the gap down, right? Somewhere around the yesterday close. Maybe even if you are trying to visualize something for yourself, right? And that's the liquidity pool probably, right? So maybe even higher, just from the daily chart perspective. Just from the daily chart perspective, even if that's gonna be falling candle, to have this upper shadow, right? So this stop count might create this type of the upper shadow, and boom, sell off, right? During the cash market. That would be nice, taking into the consideration yesterday candle. Of course, much nicer, but I'm not sure if that might happen today. Much nicer would be something like this. Through yesterday high. But the daily close below post ISM gap. That for me, immediately that would be short setup, and the next day like this. But that would be possible with, that might be the case tomorrow. For example, if the ISM non-manufacturing is going to be as what market expectations are, well above 50. That could provide some, short squeeze, maybe, stuff like this. So that's when you are trying to visualize something for yourself. trying to work with this flag as expected, so watching 1500, 1503 from the selling perspective as explained. Alright guys, hopefully this dollar Swiss franc can survive in case as explained. So let's make the summary. In case of the stop out, right, if the stop out happen, because it might happen, right, but we are going to have the candle as I was trying to visualize for you from the daily chart perspective, right, so upper shadow but the close below this post ISM, then it might be well, another short setup on dollar Swiss franc. Euro dollar, there is a possibility we are going to retest this 109 one more time, especially that this European low, that might be some kind of the liquidity and market may want to look for some stops and then trying to jump higher. Well, the important thing is that we are still below Monday high and weekly open, so that's, I would say, rather bearish view. But from the intraday perspective, as discussed yesterday and this morning, the retest of the psychological 110 could be the case here. For example, ahead of the ISM tomorrow, and then ISM tomorrow, US ISM non-manufacturing good, then strong move down from 110. That would be nice setup, right? And of course, if we are going to retest this 109, I have a working order here, but this type of the retest probably will stop me out from my Swiss franc. And DJ depends on where we are going to open. I would like to see some kind of the stop count, create the upper shadow, this 50% of the. Remember, if that was the range break, we did the distance. So the rally here is not gonna be nothing extraordinary or nothing unusual, right? And then looking for some failure, right? Of course, great stop count short squeeze would be nice to see. That's what we were trying to visualize. I don't think it's going to happen today, unless maybe we shouldn't forget. Sorry guys, I didn't mention about that. We shouldn't forget that we still can get some nice tweet from President Trump, right? Then the algo will catch that tweet and will push market higher. Yeah, that's possible. The same as why Swiss franc is losing today because of the central banker's comments. And finally, gold. As explained, I would rather wait here. Even that we are testing the neckline from this head and shoulders on the daily chart, I would rather want to see a little bit higher levels towards the psychological 1500, 1503 maybe, and then rejection over there. That might be some kind of a short setup. Guys, that's it from me today. As I mentioned, we are going to cover ADP today. It's gonna be a little bit shorter. We spent a lot of time together yesterday, and we are going to spend a lot of time together tomorrow. Again, 8 a.m. CET, pre-London Open, then 9:15 a.m. CET. We are going to cover EU and UK PMI, and then of course 3 p.m. CET ahead of the US Cash Open. We are going to prepare ourselves for US ISM non-manufacturing. So guys, be careful. It might be a little bit quiet today. Market may want to take the breath ahead of the fireworks tomorrow. Have a great rest of the session. It was my pleasure to be with you guys here today again, and see you tomorrow. Goodbye, guys.